Dr. Doreen 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗧 is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗧.
Dr. 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗧.
Dr. Doreen 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗧.
Dr. Doreen 𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗧 is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. We had one other question about the adult diagnosed autism. Somebody wrote in and said, is it ever too late to get a diagnosis? I believe my sister is on the spectrum, and I've been telling her for years that she should go for a diagnosis. She says it's too late.
No, it's never too late. I think the oldest person I would have diagnosed would probably be in their 50s or 60s. So no, it's not too late at all. It really just has to do with, if they want the diagnosis, if they want to know if they're struggling, and if they feel that the diagnosis would help them in some way. It would be important, whatever it is. It's not just about autism. I think if you are struggling, it's important to see a healthcare person who can help you figure out what's going on. Yeah. Just like medicine, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge our dear friend, Autism Journey with 𝗲𝗧. She says, oh gosh, I'm dreading this coming school year, but little do they know I'm getting my B case in no time with a blue heart. And I just want to say, I love that you constantly pay it forward and that you said to everybody it's important to have that team. And so I'm going to say directly to you that I know, because I went through years where I would dread those IEPs and I hated it so much. And then I know how hard it is right now because you're in a fight right now where they're learning who you are and how strong you are. But the one thing, if I could put anything into your basket, it would be with that wonderful parent from New York City who said to me, he said, oh, IEPs, it's just kabuki theater. Don't really get upset. Just put on your mask and pretend that you're upset because it will all be okay in the end. And while you're worrying about the school, he's growing and changing.
Yeah.
And you will never get these years back. I heard an
That's
amazing
so
thing
so
yesterday
true.
where somebody said, if you're in the place where you're taking, and this was for neurotypical parents, so imagine how much more with autism. If you're in the place right now where you're taking care of children and your life is like, oh, dishes and laundry and toys and all of these things, and you're like, when is my life not going to be about this? To hang on, because a day will come when it won't be about these things. Yeah. And some of you will miss some of that time, right?
You definitely will.
But
trust me, you will.
I'm not telling you that you'll miss the IEPs, because you won't miss the IEPs, but I will tell you what will happen is that the day is going to come when you're going to stand a little bit taller and know that you showed up for these IEPs, that you got it done for him, and you'll be able to look back and go, it was all worth it. But what I know for sure, and what my esophagus would like to tell you, because I have an esophageal ulcer from that time, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Learn from my mistakes, because I still have the esophageal ulcer and suffer with it, right? Even though the stress is past. So put on your mask, pretend, and be outraged and because they're doing outrageous things, right? You and I have talked about it. But don't dread it. This is going to be a great school year.
Yeah.
He's grown already so much. He is a light on this planet. You're going to have a great school year where he's going to learn a lot and focus on all the good things. Like, are they going to have a Halloween parade? What's he going to do this year? What's he going to learn this year? Focus on all that. Go in, put on the mask,
It's so true.
Act the role, but don't let yourself dread it, especially during the summer months. No need to. The law is on your side. You are going to win.
And Sarah wrote in, record those meetings, which is great advice.
Oh, yes.
And that
she
is
does.
very, very important. It's always very useful to have recordings, and you are allowed to do that, by the way.
Yep.
And I used to, as a professional, not even as a parent, I used to hate IEP meetings just because I'm very, very driven, very fast when it comes to my kids, my patients. I just want to figure out what they need, get going, put a whole team on it, solve the problem, keep moving.
Well, the logical thing, what's best for the individual,
right, and just keep moving. And IEPs would drive me crazy because there was 5 hours of the first hour, everybody's just talking about what coffee they prefer. And I'm ready to kill myself in these meetings, but I would always find one of the people, like a teacher or an administrator or a resource specialist, someone, or a speech path, or someone who was kind of on my page and got it, and I would just focus on them.
Yeah.
And just finding one positive thing, as Shannon said, helps you get through it.
Absolutely. But part of the thing, because I've sat on both sides of the table with the IEP, part of the thing that you have to understand is that our federal government has not fully funded IDEA yet. So all the things that would make sense to build the team, they don't have the funding for it. So you have $20 worth of stuff that you want to pay for with a card that has $5.13 on it.
Right.
And that's why they're talking about coffee, because nobody wants to talk about that. I was saying yesterday, I kind of want to go to the Iowa State Fair this year, because that's when all the people who are running for president, you can get to them.
Yeah.
You can get right to them, stick a microphone in their face and say, how are you going to, because listen.
What are you going to do for us?
We were promised that they were going to fully fund IDEA. I know that there was this little thing called COVID, but I really want to stick. And later on, when it's all decided who the people that are actually, you can't get in anybody's face.
Yeah.
But at the Iowa State Fair, you can. And say to them, how are you going to fund IDEA? How are you going to make that a priority? You know, we're at this crazy number, 1 in 36. That means there's somebody in every single freaking classroom. I get hooked up.
Yeah.
Then when are we going to stop
1 in 23
this
boys.
I know. When are we going to stop this nonsense? And it's there, the law is there, but no one on either, I don't care what your politics are, nobody on either side of the aisle has fully funded it. And that is why we have problems.
That's right.
So it has to change. Okay, we're essentially out of time, and Traven, bless his heart, has given me a long list of things that we're covering the rest of this week. I want to, and thank you, all of you, and I especially want to say hi to 𝗷𝗂𝗎, who I don't think I've seen right into us before. She says, hi, Shannon and Dr. Doreen, you're amazing with beautiful heart. Thank you for your help and guidance.
Thank you.
So thrilled that you're here. Okay, so on tomorrow's show, it's exciting, you guys. This is very exciting. First of all, for jargon, we're covering the 3-term contingency. We are doing autism news tomorrow. And then we've got 2 powerhouse interviews for you. I sort of leaked about this the other day. If you watch The Real Housewives of all the different places, especially Salt Lake City, one of the moms has left the show. Angie Harrington has left the show because her son, her 5-year-old, has been diagnosed with autism. It's a huge thing to say, I'm not going to be on this hit show because I'm going to focus on this. We have Angie Harrington tomorrow. You're going to get to see an interview that I did with her. And then, I'm telling you, if you didn't love her before, you're going to love her after this interview. And then later in the show, we're having Tasha Rollins on, who's also a mom and a clinician, and she's the one that we've been promising you this interview, that she's written a book that has all of the jargon terms in easy to understand language. It's a dictionary.
Awesome.
We all need to have it on our bookshelf. So that is going to be tomorrow. Then on Thursdays, we're doing stories from the spectrum. And on Friday, we're going to be showing you a recent episode of Let's Talk All the Things with Rachel Bird, who just had a birthday. We're saying happy birthday to Rachel Bird. So that is what's going on for the rest of the week. It's
terrific.
And we've got a bunch of interviews in the shoot, you guys, that are going to be very exciting, and lots of things coming up. Not the least of which will be an announcement coming up soon about the 2nd annual All Ghouls Gala.
Oh my gosh.
Which we're gearing up for. And if you heard about last year's, if you're making plans, and you should, to come to Los Angeles around that time, we do know that it's on October 28th.
Correct.
This much we know. We can't tell you. We know other things, but we can't tell you other things. All of this is, of course, to benefit that wonderful charity that we were talking about just a few minutes ago, Autism Care Today. So that you founded, and that you are currently still the president of, and you've been doing amazing work there. But it is the off-the-chain adult Halloween party.
That's right.
People were a little confused last year about, is this a thing you bring your kids to?
No, it's an adult party.
This is an adult, and it is a costumes
It's a fundraiser,
required.
yeah. Costumes required.
I mean, we did make a couple of exceptions, but those people were like, I should have been in costume. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it was, some of the costumes were incredible. Like, it was amazing.
Well,
last year.
you always win because she's
I
amazing.
love doing costumes.
Tell them who you
I
were
was
dressed.
David Bowie last
But
year.
not just David Bowie. David Bowie in a very...
As Ziggy Stardust.
There we go.
With
I didn't recognize you. You walked by me 3 times.
You know, I didn't recognize my husband.
Well, I didn't recognize
Because he got
him
ready
either.
and came out, and I was like, oh my God. But there were so many
And
amazing...
He was dressed as Axl, right?
Yes.
Axl
yeah,
Rose.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, have I ever told you my Axl Rose story?
No.
I met Axl Rose. I had a friend who was the band manager for Guns N' Roses, and my sister insisted on going, it's not my music, can I say?
Yes.
I was the boring woman in the mosh pit who asked for a chair in the mosh pit. But, and then afterwards we got to go backstage, and I just had watched him on stage for, 2.5 hours, and I stood and talked with him and my sister and a couple of other people all night long, and then we left, and I said, I'm so sorry you didn't get to meet Axl Rose. And she smacked me, and she said, who do you think we've been talking to for the last 2 hours?
My
I didn't recognize him. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah.
Looks nothing like he does when he's screaming in
stage.
boxer shorts on stage with his hair pulled back into a Confederate flag. What can I say? He doesn't look like that. Very intelligent. We talked about French poetry. You would have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Anyway, what are you going to do? I had no idea it was him. Didn't recognize him at all.
There you go.
Not at all. All right, you guys, we went over for that story. Sorry. Anyway, love to all of you. We will be back tomorrow live. And until then, and thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. What a great show. Thank you so much.
But we will be back tomorrow. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you there. Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We hope to see you there.